Welcome to one more game presented by Hoosier Pickleball. I'm your host, Matt Brandenberger, alongside my amazing wife on so many levels. We've got stories for you, and two of our puppies. This is Coco. Hi, Coco. And this is Tiger. And they are joining us because last week was Pickleball on the Road. Coco doesn't love me, so she's probably going to jump up with Abby. And today is Pickleball in the Home. So we could not schedule the studio this week, so we decided to just record from our house. Is Coco coming up with you or not?
No.
Okay. So anyways, we are excited to be with you live from our living room. We decided not to do our bedroom like we did in Siesta, but thought this was a little better. We have the fireplace going, even though it's 80 degrees today. Thought it looked
the mood.
very homey.
Sets the tone.
Homey or homely?
Homey. Homely is ugly.
Ugly? Yeah. And you also see our friend has joined us from above.
You guys, we got him.
We got him. He's on the pod. Mark Cuban, if you joined us last week, you know that we were talking about setting our sights high. And when we get Mark Cuban on the show, like really on the show, not just a picture of him, but maybe we'll just put a picture of him every episode until we get Mark Cuban. We're going to have somewhere. It'll be like an Easter egg. You got to find it. We're going to have
That's a good idea.
Picture of Mark Cuban somewhere hidden until he's on the show. So, Mark, when you finally watch one of these episodes, please come on our show so we don't have to find all kinds of crazy pictures of you. This is a good one, though. So, good job, Mark. What else? Do you want to tell the story?
Yeah.
Today is kind of an exciting day. We're
Yeah.
kind of riding high. Abby took her real estate test. Now, this is something we haven't talked much about, but Abby's kind of in the midst of a career change, and just to kind of give a little family background, will you talk? Go.
Yeah, no, just I, worked at Indiana Physical Therapy for 14 years and am now homeschooling a child. So I had to quit my job in order to focus on her. And that's going so well, but I don't know that I would be able to go back into a clinic with like steady hours or whatever, just because my daughter is still my focus. So we just decided for me to attempt to get my real estate license. Listen, I know that's a lot of work. I'm not saying that's going to be less work, but I think it could be more flexible.
More flexible,
it would
for sure.
have the flexibility for me to homeschool. Mm-hmm. So
and could potentially be more lucrative. That's the hope. And
Yeah.
Pickleball's been good to us. You've been given lessons.
Yeah.
A little side hustle, but this has a potential of maybe growing into something that could help our family out quite a bit. So I'm really excited.
So, I actually have a story that relates to our topic. The topic today is how to handle.
Yeah, this is perfect.
How to handle being nervous in a tournament, right? Mm. So, like, when you have to perform, how do you dig deep and settle down and not lose your mind, right?
Right.
So here's my story from today. So I'm taking this exam. It's a proctored exam for my home, which if you've ever done that, that is a whole thing. We're talking like nobody could walk in a room, and this proctor has me on camera, and I have to like scan the room with the computer, and they can see my screen and all of these things. And I actually got in trouble because I looked down and this flash came on my screen, warning, you looked away from the screen. And I was like, dang, I didn't know.
It's sophisticated stuff.
Yeah. And so, this person is watching me for, 2 hours. So anyways, I am done with the national portion of the exam. Now I'm on to the state portion of the exam. So I'm hoping this isn't too much longer. And I notice at this point, I'm about an hour and a half into this, that my charger has not been charging my computer and I'm losing power. And I'm kind of like, oh crap. So I go to unplug my computer to try to plug it into a new outlet. I get another warning. Your face is off camera. This is my second warning. If you do this again, your exam is canceled.
Is this automated from the program,
this
or
person,
the person who's monitoring
sends
is
like a flash?
They're sending you a message essentially through the
But
screen.
It's like this whole screen message, like flash, and I was like, oh boy.
Right.
And so I chat her or him back, and I was like, my computer's losing power. You can see on my screen my battery's going down and my charger isn't working. What do I do? And this person was like, well, you can try to find a new outlet. And I tried that, and didn't work. The power cord is dead. and I don't have my phone. I can't text Matt.
Of all days, of all time. I mean, it's
it was
just
working
like,
this morning.
Seriously, yeah. And this
And-
is a computer our girls use all the time for homework and whatnot. So.
Right. It had been fine.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing I can do.
No.
So I text this person and I was like, I'm just going to finish this quickly. So I have probably 30 questions to go. And I basically have a timer that was like, your computer is going to go to sleep in 5 minutes if you don't plug this in. And I'm like, oh, buddy. I mean, it probably was longer than that. But I was like, here we go.
Sometimes it will say it only has, it's like your gas gauge, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, it says you only have 10%, but then that last 5% does go longer.
It does.
But you're in the middle of this thing, and you've got to finish it.
And I'm like, here we go. And so I read every question, I read every answer, and I answered it to the best of my ability. But there was no second guessing. There was no going back. I was like, here we go. I'm just going to plan on failing it. Mm-hmm. That's okay. I will just retake it. So
we had talked about that before. I mean, we hear stories all the time.
Tons of people fail this test all the time.
In fact, 75% of people who take it the first time fail it. So it was kind of like you weren't feeling ready to take it anyways. You really crammed in the last couple of days.
Yeah.
But by the encouragement of some other people, they're like, just take it, get a feel for it, and then take it again. It's only $50 or something. Yeah. Not that we're just throwing money away,
right.
But. So you were fine with not passing it.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was just the manner of losing the power.
Right.
And like, I still wanted to do my best.
Yeah.
I still wanted to not fail.
Sure.
So anyways, I get done, and my computer at this point is moving slowly, and I can see it's like loading slowly, and then it's like, take this survey. And I'm like, no. So I'm like taking this survey, like, let's just get this done with. I want to see. And
you're
my
down
score.
to like 1%.
Oh my word! At this point, it had been more than 5 minutes. Jeez. I knew I'm running out of seconds. So I finish the survey and I click exit, and it's just so slow. I don't even know that I'm going to get my results, and all of a sudden it just flashes up, pass.
That's amazing.
And then, I mean, it was like a minute later my computer died.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my goodness.
Seriously. I didn't know, you didn't tell me that part. So it literally died right after you're done.
Yes. I mean, it was probably a minute.
Oh, praise the Lord.
Probably a minute.
And we did have a lot of people praying. Thanks for all of those. I posted some on Facebook and said, just say a prayer for Abby. So we believe in the power of prayer.
Yeah.
And maybe it was the prayers that got through that last 5%. I don't know. But
So just thinking through, like, not panicking. I mean, I couldn't panic. I had to think clearly, and I was down to the wire.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can't lose your head in these situations. So this is kind of related, right?
Yeah. I'm so proud of you, because I really think I personally would have choked in that situation, because I get panicky when I see a timer and my mind just starts going. I think it's some of my like ADHD that I just am like, I can't even focus. But your reading comprehension skills are off the charts, and so your ability in that instant to go through. So
I mean, by the time the computer shut down and I saw that I passed, I had tears in my eyes just with the drama of this power cord.
That's emotional. So long story short, you passed your real estate.
I did.
So little plug. If you are in the greater Fort Wayne area and you are looking to sell a house or buy a house, Abby's your girl. So this is going to be a little bit of a side hustle along with pickleball. I still think we need to come up with like a business card that has like, have you seen like realtors that have like, I'm the sports realtor, and they have like all their sports equipment?
No.
You need to like, for your headshot, I think you need to hold a pickleball paddle or at least a ball or something.
That would be amazing.
So that's super exciting for you, for our family, and just for just clutchness in general. That was awesome. Way to go.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
Yeah,
really.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
She told me just before we started recording that her plan was to tell me that she failed, like leave that going all day, and then when we recorded the pod, like then tell me that, like live.
I passed.
Yeah, that you passed.
But with the drama that happened during it, I couldn't.
I think I'd have been so upset. I'd have been like, what? Like, stop recording. Are you being like, why did you lie to me all day?
I'm glad I didn't do that.
Yeah, that would have been weird.
Yeah.
But very exciting. So that's what's going on for us.
So before we get into our topic, though, I think we have some people.
Yeah,
some
so let's kind of follow up from last week.
Yeah.
We actually got probably the coolest email to date that we have gotten. So sorry for those of you that have sent us emails.
They weren't that cool.
They weren't as good as this one. So this is from a listener in Huntsville, Alabama. So Roll Tide, I think we say for people.
I don't know.
If he's assuming he's from Alabama, or he is from Alabama, but assuming
He's
he
a
loves
fan.
the Alabama Crimson Tide. I think everybody in that state does, but I could be wrong. So I apologize, Buford, if you are not an Alabama fan. That I just said Roll Tide. That's probably like somebody saying to me, Boiler Up, because I'm an IU fan, and that's just not cool. Or Go Bucks, or whatever. But anyways, I digress. Buford from Huntsville, Alabama, sent us the nicest email.
Seriously.
And he was actually responding to our question. Remember, we talked about, we couldn't remember the name of this app that we were using, or that they were using down in Florida for scheduling.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave us a suggestion of one that they use down there called Playtime Scheduler, and it's at playtimescheduler.com.
So it's not an app.
It's not really an app, it's just a website. I mean, you can still access it from your mobile phone, but there's not an app yet. I guess that's still in development. But here's what he said about it. He said you can create a scheduled session at a specific set of courts, and you can limit the number and skill level. You can also create a private session to send to certain individuals. So I did check this out.
I like that.
Yeah, it's a very cool site. You can tell it's still like a work in progress. I love what they're doing though.
Yeah.
They have well over 100,000 people that have signed up for this service. So I think just from a business standpoint, they're probably doing a good thing. They'll probably get some sponsorships and be able to do some stuff with that. It did feel a little bit old school. I think they need some more, development with it before it could really take off. But the whole idea of it, I think, is really good. It is very similar. The one that I did reach out to our friend down in Florida and found out it's called Team Reach is what they use. And here, come to find out, this was kind of funny, found out that a lot of people in Fort Wayne use it. They just haven't told us about it. So
seriously, I'm so offended.
So we were in the dark. Actually, a lot of people that we play with that are kind of in our circle were like, I didn't know about this. So there's kind of another group of people in Fort Wayne that are using this Team Reach.
It doesn't include us.
It doesn't include us. How offensive. How offensive. But that's okay. But we know about it now, and we signed up. I think I'm in like 4 or 5 of these different groups. But it does a lot of those same things where you can actually create and schedule sessions and limit it to a certain number of people. So once people are signed up, then nobody else can jump in it. So I think it could be something we use. We'll especially probably use it for our community association that we kind of run the pickleball program in here. And I can see some value to it there as well. But I love these ideas. I think they're good. The only concern I have with them is people kind of getting excluded. I think could be somewhat, but that's always going to be a thing and kind of tricky. I'm more sensitive to that. You're like, screw it. Should have signed up sooner.
I get excluded.
Yeah, it happens. So, but it is kind of nice on both of those that you can kind of limit it to a certain number of people and even kind of say what skill level people are playing in. But you do that and you get people who could get frustrated saying, I am a 4-0. What do you mean? Well...
That's tricky.
So that can get a little tricky.
But I love as pickleball grows, there's all of these new technologies. So that's just really fun that people are coming up using their skill sets and using their brains to come up with things that people in the pickleball community need.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's actually a foreshadowing of our next podcast. We'll leave that there.
Okay. I like that little teaser. One more thing from Buford, though. He just had some really nice things to say. That I just wanted to read because they made my day and they made us feel good. I shared this with Abby then and made her day as well. So at the very end of his email, he said, "Thanks for the podcast. They are my favorite pickleball podcasts, and I like the combination of pickleball and family going-ons. It helps me relate better." So that's really sweet, Buford. Thank you again for the email and encouragement to others of you out there from all over the country. I love that we have listeners in Alabama and beyond who are listening and interacting.
Yeah, so to the point of the encouraging word is just like when I read that email, I did not know that I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
It was really meaningful. And so I am challenging you to go do that for somebody else
Yeah. How many
Whenever I
times have
listen
I
to this-
thought, oh, like a pastor gives a good sermon, or somebody does something, I'm like, I should just drop them an email,
And then we don't.
Then time flies, and it's like, oh, forget, and then it's like you think about it again, it's like, it's kind of too late now.
Yeah.
But Buford took the time.
I know.
Appreciate that.
And then somebody texted me and said they liked playing with me.
Oh, that's nice.
That was so nice.
Who?
I'm not going to tell you.
Will you tell me later?
It's a secret. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But that's so. All I'm saying is the power of encouragement.
Yeah. Well, and let me even throw one more that's a great analogy, and I didn't really know we were going to go with this topic at all, but in Florida, randomly on the beach, we met a guy from Minnesota.
Yeah, I have this in here.
Oh, is that part of this? Oh, okay.
The guy on the beach.
His name is Jared. He might even listen to the podcast because I think I did share it with him. But he was really kind of the inspiration that got us going for saying to Abby, like, take your test right away.
Yeah.
Like, don't wait to take it. He's a real estate mogul.
Guru. I don't even know.
I don't know what word you
Boss.
put there. Boss, he is, up in Minnesota, and have been in touch with him a little bit. But it was one of those, it really was a God thing that we just met him randomly this one night on the beach when we were in siesta, and he was super encouraging.
Well, his wife took a picture of our family.
Yeah.
We should link that picture in the show notes.
We should. We will link that picture in the show notes. And that was how we just, this family walking down the beach, or was kind of out in front of our condo. Nobody else was around. And Abby said, I'll just grab this lady and ask her to take the picture. And then we struck up a conversation, talked for about half hour at least. So another just encouraging words and how powerful that can be. So that's your homework, listeners. Go out, encourage somebody, write that email
Send
that you're
them a
thinking
text.
of. And if you have any great success stories with that, let us know.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to
so-
take a commercial break because we've been talking quite a bit. That's quite an introduction.
Quite an introduction.
Lots going on. We're super excited. But we are going to come back and talk a little bit more about tournaments and that mental side of things and how to be more clutch and how to kind of overcome that performance anxiety.
Yeah.
So we will be right back after this.
Are you new to the game of pickleball and looking to learn the basics? Or maybe you're an experienced player who wants to take your game to the next level? Both Matt and I would love to help.
That's right, Abby. We are both Level 2 IPTPA certified instructors and would love working with you, either giving you private lessons, group lessons, or hosting a clinic. We also offer unique video coaching utilizing the latest in drone technology. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, or TikTok by searching Hoosier Pickleball, or email us at HoosierPickleball@gmail.com. Also, check out the show notes for all the links to our social channels. Welcome back to One More Game presented by Hoosier Pickleball. Tiger's back on Abby's lap, and we are back and ready to roll. So we talked before the break about the power of encouraging words. We talked about Abby's clutchness of taking her real estate exam, and that really is the focus of today's episode, is how to overcome that performance anxiety. And one thing I'd want to say right off the bat, so don't tune out if you're not a tournament player. Don't say, well, I don't really play tournaments, this doesn't pertain to me. I think everybody, no matter what, has those times of feeling kind of nervous. You know, you're jumping on a court with new people, you want to kind of prove yourself. You might, kind of have those butterflies. And so we are talking specifically with tournaments, but I think this does relate to lots of areas of playing pickleball and getting nervous and trying to, perform.
And even in rec play, maybe it's not a feeling of nervousness.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a feeling of like just not being dialed in, and all of a sudden you're down 0-8, and you're like, I'm gonna try to dig deep and come back and win that. I mean, even that to me is part of a focus mentality.
So, it's a mental toughness, right? Yeah. That's even back to your real estate stuff. It's one of the things I thought of as well was it shows me again, one of your strongest characteristics is I think you are very mentally tough. And there's, I'm not throwing people under the bus, but not everybody who plays pickleball is mentally tough. Some people, you get down in a hole and it's like, it's over. We're not going to win this. I've heard you say several times, like, we're not losing this game. Like, and not that always is the case, but you have that never say die attitude. Your computer starts running out of battery. You weren't like, well, I guess this is over. I mean, you buckled down, gave it your best shot, see what happens. And even if you wouldn't have passed it, you still
fine,
had
yeah.
the mentality of going.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
okay.
you're very kind.
I
Yeah.
try.
Yeah. Well, just so in light of encouraging words, I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of where I want to start is so singles, that to me that's a little harder. You know, if you're playing in a singles match, I'm thinking of a couple friends that I have that do play singles, and you know that's hard to you don't have a partner to cheer you on. So I would say go to a tournament with a friend.
Go with a friend
Take a friend or your wife,
so they can help you
so they can just cheer you on
when you're playing singles.
when you're playing
saying.
singles.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just have somebody in your corner.
Yeah. Even in doubles, though, I would say it's so much more encouraging when you have people watching you.
It is.
I mean, I feel that in big tournaments when
Yeah.
I've had like a fan section,
Yeah.
albeit only a handful of people, that's really helps. Yeah, I mean, your partner obviously can help, but you're kind of together when an
Yeah.
outside person is encouraging you. That's huge.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and so then when you're at tournaments, go watch your friends. Go watch your friends playing singles for sure.
yeah,
But go cheer your friends on. I mean, we all do that, but I'm
Absolutely.
just kind of reiterating
Yeah.
those things. So you singles players, I think you should get somebody in your corner for when you're playing. But then with your doubles partner, my encouragement here is to just be positive. I have played with people who were more negative. I didn't say that.
I pointed at myself for those that didn't see that or
I
are
have-
listening.
I have been criticized on the court.
No. Who?
I-
Tell me his name.
Tell me his name. It was a girl.
Oh, okay. Wait. Okay,
And
go ahead.
so, and that's not helpful
Yeah.
in any way. I mean, we always say, like, I'd be first in line to sign up for a perfect pickleball game. Like, I'm in. Give me
Right.
the perfect pickleball game. But we cannot do that. And so a criticism isn't gonna help your partner recover any nerves. It's only gonna make your partner more and more a head case, is what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's gonna freak them out.
Yeah.
So, and then just on that, like, talk though. I mean, strategy is good.
Absolutely.
Always talk strategy. Hey, remember her backhand. Remember his forehand. Remember middle solves the real. Like whatever. Like all you can say that. But if it's cutting, if it's biting, if it's eye rolling, body language, to me that does not help anybody's nervousness.
Yeah. And when we talk about focus and you talk about that mental side of the game, you ever have that feeling, maybe it's just because we've driven for 30 plus hours of our lives over the last week to Florida and back, but where you've gone down the highway for like the last 10 minutes and you're like, I don't even remember driving. Like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, even
you're
coming
just
home
kinda-
from work.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
just kind of going through the motions.
Yeah.
I'd say there's a lot of times, even in rec play, but especially in tournaments, where I'll have to refocus myself and say, okay, like, what is our plan here?
Right.
What are we doing?
Right.
We're just kind of playing and letting it happen. But
That's
like,
more, you're being more defensive.
right. Like, give me a strategy. Give
Yeah.
me, even if it's not the right strategy, give me a target. Where are we going? You wrote down here, like, who are we going to? Go to Pink Shirt's backhand or his forehand's weak. Like, give me something to really focus on.
Right.
One of my favorite sayings, I think, is from the Patriot, that is aim small, miss small.
Sure.
Like, find a spot, try to hit that spot. If you miss it, it's fine. But if you focus on a spot, your margin for error is
Yeah. So,
better. Yeah.
so say, we're in a tournament and, Matt's really nervous or I'm really nervous, but I can give Matt a job.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, all you need to do right now is
Yep.
to hit it to her backhand.
Yep.
Just do that. And then he can be like, I'm on it.
Yeah.
And I think that can help settle nerves. So
For sure.
being your partner's advocate, like helping your partner out with that.
Let me back up just a step and say one of the best pieces of advice I ever got for, I think it was my first tournament, and I talked to a very high level 5.0 plus player, and I said, okay, like, give me, what do you think about when you're going to a tournament? And he said, well, the very first games that I play, I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm trying to kind of dial it in. So at the beginning of a game, like think about, the entire session that you're playing, the whole tournament, but even more so the first game of the tournament, you're really looking to not try to hit the corner of the kitchen, not try and aim more for just the middle of the net, and then kind of work your way out. If the ideal spot is to hit to that right-sided player or the person who's on the right there to their backhand, don't try to hit that spot the very first time. Go to the middle of the net where it dips a little bit. You got two more inches for your margin of error. Go more towards the middle of the net to the middle of the court where you're not going to miss a ball quite as badly.
I think that builds your own confidence. It's almost like
sure.
you're building your own confidence in that situation.
You're building your confidence, one, but then you're just calibrating your game.
Yeah.
You're kind of finding, okay, that was how hard I have to hit there. Ooh, that one was a little high, but at least it didn't go in the net, right? Yeah. Whereas if you try to hit that perfect shot, it's a little further and the net's a little higher over on the sideline, you're going to have much more of a tendency to hit it in the net, and that's what we always say is the worst thing you can do because the point's over. You hit a little high, the ball's probably coming back to you, maybe with a lot of pace, but kind of try to calibrate yourself as an individual game goes on, or even the day, because we've said this before. How often do you feel like by game 5 or 6 in tournament play, it's like that's when my thirds are money because I've been hitting them. I've been hitting them 4 or 5 games in a row. I've got it dialed in. But that first game, a lot of times, is pretty rough.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so, that's actually segues nicely into my next thought, which is one shot at a time. So, say you're super nervous, you're tight. Of course, I always recommend a warm-up game anyways with some friends. Grab some friends and get in a warm-up game to kind of get that out. But, if you're the starting server, all your job to do in that moment is serve it over. So, don't look at this big picture. I am in my first 5-0 tournament and I am so nervous. Look at it as I'm just getting this first serve deep and, over the net and in the court. Yep. And then, or if you're the returner, I'm returning this deep. So you don't have to look at the whole day. You just look at my next job to do is, and then do that next job.
Win this rally.
Yep.
And go even a little more granular. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
This next shot, like you said,
right.
deep serves, deep returns, good third shot drops, and dink all day.
Yep.
As our friend Marcus says. So.
Yep. Yeah, and so I don't know if you've ever done this.
Probably.
I haven't done this in particular because I don't tend to get super nervous. I get nervous, but I don't tend to have to do this. So I don't know if you have, but I've read in the Inner Game of Tennis, if you're getting really, really tight and you're in your own head and you need to kind of zone out almost, is to focus on the ball to the point where you can watch it spin and see its holes.
Yeah.
Have you done that?
Yeah, I think about that. I do remember that from that book as well. Jeff Bucher, who recommended that book, I think that was one of his big takeaways as well. And I don't know if I agree with when you say zone out. I think that's like zoned in. Like you are so focused that you are seeing the holes in the ball, that you're not just, I'm just hitting the shot. No, I'm going to watch. That's just like being extra concentrating to see that ball hit the paddle. I'm seeing the ball all the way.
Yes, I did mean that because in that same book he talked about have you ever played so well that you said the phrase "I played out of my mind."
Yeah, or in the zone.
In the zone, and that's kind of what I meant by that. Is like you are not thinking too much.
Yeah, you're not overthinking.
No,
you're just concentrating on
the spinning of the ball.
Yeah. That doesn't make sense.
So I'd like to try that sometime. I haven't done it.
Okay, do it tomorrow.
Okay.
Because you're probably playing tomorrow.
Yeah.
Of course. This is the same woman. Literally, 3 nights ago, it's like, I'm done with pickleball. I'm over pickleball.
That was 2 nights ago.
2 nights ago.
I retired.
Okay, you were done. So I
was.
I laughed to myself and I actually rolled my eyes and said, see how long this lasts. So the answer was 2.5 days. It lasted. So fair. I've been there. We've all been there.
Very fair. One more point, and then we'll take another commercial break. But hydration and nourishment is also something
Yeah.
that is very helpful.
Absolutely.
Especially hydration.
I take, especially in the summer when it's hot, I take the biggest water jug I have, and I drink every chance that I can just in order to stay hydrated, even though I'm not super thirsty. And I feel like hydration I'm always good with, but when I get a little nervous, I don't eat as much as I should. And so I have felt the effects later in a day, if it's a long tournament day, of just feeling a little...
Like, I can feel my blood sugar dipping. I can feel I'm seeing stars. Means. Yeah. Okay. I'm getting woozy, and it's like, that does not help my nervousness when I'm feeling like...
Yeah.
Like that. So.
All this talk, I want to go get a drink, and I want to go get little food, chips. Maybe some chocolate chips. So we will take one more commercial break, and we will be right back to finish up this discussion, and we'll see you then. Come join the fun at pickleballrocks.com, your trusted authority when it comes to all your pickleball needs. Apparel, paddles, bags, hats, you name it, you'll find it there. Family owned and operated for nearly 15 years.
Matt and I are growth pros for Pickleball Rocks, and for being a loyal listener of the One More Game podcast, we can offer you a 15% discount at checkout when you use the code MATTB15. So head over to pickleballrocks.com and check it out. Let's play.
Welcome back to One More Game of Pickleball. Why did I say of pickleball? Because our podcast actually says of pickleball.
I know, I had to do that. I had to do that in order for it to be searchable.
Oh, interesting.
To be better searchable.
That's stuck in my head, I guess.
Yeah.
We're back, and Mark Cuban's back as well.
Oh, good.
We'd gone to a screensaver, Mark said something during the commercial break, so thought we'd bring him back. So we've been talking a lot about just like mental focus, being prepared when you're nervous, how to kind of overcome some of that performance anxiety. Before the break, we were talking about hydration and nourishment, nutrition. So what else? There's kind of one last thing.
Yeah, so the last thing is actually, this applies in all areas of life, because this was actually something that this real estate podcast that I would listen to help me prepare for this test. One of the huge test taking tips.
You should give him a shout out.
Okay, I will. AHA Real Estate.
He's our friend on Facebook now.
Brian Reep. Yeah, or Brian Lee. I'm sorry. It's Reep, Real Estate Exam Prep. Brian Lee has this great podcast. He's a real estate broker, appraiser. I think he's getting his, he's going to be a lawyer now out of Indianapolis. So he was very, very helpful. And anyways, he had a lot of deep breathing tips during your tests. And so I think that is easily translated onto the pickleball court.
Absolutely.
So I just found, so deep breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the one that is overstimulated. Okay. So it sends that signal to your brain to tell that anxious part of your brain to settle down, that you're safe. So it's just the in through your nose and out through your mouth, that you don't need to use the fight, flight, or freeze response. Yeah, so deep breathing also gets more oxygen to your brain. Who knew, right? So when you're getting ready to serve, and you get 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So maybe take 3, maybe take 2 deep breaths.
3, you're pushing it.
So yeah, 2 deep breaths. And on return of serve, maybe stand at the baseline and take a couple deep breaths in. But that literally calms your brain down.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, really helpful in lots of areas in life.
Yeah. We've talked a lot on this podcast about the power of like sleep. I feel like breathing's another one of those that's like kind of underrated, but getting more traction. Like my Apple Watch tells me now, like when I need to do some breathing exercises. I mean, it is a well-being thing that we talk about in education quite a bit as well. There's a lot of, studies about breathing and helping you, just like you're talking about, just calming down, refocusing, and getting more oxygen, which is something we all need every day. Did you know? Breaking news. We need a little breaking news.
You guys.
Yeah. Hey, it's getting late.
You're here for this podcast.
You're being a jerk. If Adam was here, he would really give me a hard
You did
time.
Great job.
Shut up. If I can say something else without getting made fun of.
Uh-oh.
This also reminds me of I have a few friends that have really gotten. This sounds weird now. I'm so
What is
nervous.
about to happen? I'm also nervous.
Who have gotten into cold showers. Just that sentence sounds awful. But
With each other?
I don't think so.
I mean, okay.
But and that's really
Yes,
centered around
it is.
breathing, because in order to take a cold shower, from what I'm told, and
Which I will never do.
which I'm too scared to do, but you really have to learn to control your breathing to be able to.
Yeah. I mean, I think there are
overcome it.
lots of benefits to cold showers,
Yeah.
but I have no interest in partaking in any of that.
I'll let my friends know who are showering together that you will not be joining.
Well, I'm not
them.
coming, guys. I'm not coming.
Can I join them?
I don't care.
I don't want to. I like my hot baths.
Yeah.
I'm an opposite of cold shower guy.
Opposite.
Okay.
Anyways, obviously one last thing that I had was you are also allowed to
You've
mess-
said one last thing. This is now the third time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was
Well-
first. One last thing was hydration and nourishment.
Oh, sorry. Well,
No, that was before the break.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. Let's finish. What did you want to? What is
That
the
you're
last thing?
You're allowed to screw up. And if you get nervous and totally tank a tournament, it is what it is. It happens. And in fact,
Unacceptable.
it is not unacceptable. I saw this whole post by, if you find it on Facebook somewhere, in all the pickleball forums or whatever, Megan Fudge, the pro. Apparently, and I did not watch this, so I'm not going to actually be able to speak to what she did. But according to her, she did not perform to her own standards, and she was devastated. I mean, she kept using the word, I'm shattered. I am just shattered. And I felt so bad for her. Like, it is so disappointing when you don't perform the way that you really wanted to. So,
Have some grace on yourself.
yes, it happens to the pros. It happens to everybody.
Yeah.
So you're a disaster for a tournament. You totally
Yeah.
are terrible. It's
And
okay.
I had to deal with that at Pictona.
Yeah.
Going in December, I played awful, and it was hard, and especially for somebody who's really hard on myself.
You are.
I want to perform, so I would say you still can learn from those experiences, though, too.
can.
Don't just say, whatever, I'm done with it. Like,
Right.
use it. Like we always say, you're either winning or learning, so use it to learn to hopefully the next time.
Yeah,
uh,
but
to
don't
kinda
let it
overcome.
linger.
But don't
let
linger.
it.
I do agree with that.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it is just pickleball.
It is.
And
It's fun to win, but
absolutely.
it's also there are more important things.
Faux show.
Do you have any other tips?
No, I think those are all really good.
Does anybody else maybe?
Yeah, please let us know. Buford, our new BFF in Alabama, let us know what tips you have. Buford said he was a newer player. So,
Yeah.
but I think people of all skill levels
Oh, sure.
get that kind of anxiety, especially. I mean, I remember when I was brand new and playing against people that were way better than me and getting kind of nervous. So
Yeah.
hopefully this.
I mean, I feel like most people in pickleball at any time are trying to prove something.
Right,
So,
that's true.
I mean, that's a
I think
very
that's fair.
common feeling.
Okay. Well, we've talked about a lot of things we love, but is there anything else you want to point out that you love?
Well, I mean, when I was writing this the other day, I did not know how I was going to perform on my exam today. So I did not write anything down.
Yeah,
So I will say I love that is done.
that is behind you.
That is
That
behind
is
me.
amazing.
Because, I mean, it is a funny story how I signed up today, 2 days ago.
Yeah,
Because I was like, I'll take it at the end of May. And then I had some people in my life who were like, why are you waiting so long?
first Jared on the beach, and then
Well,
others.
my future boss.
My future boss was like,
He goes, why are you waiting so long? And I was like, that feels like tomorrow. And then I was like, okay, how about I take it in 2 days?
yeah.
Which really felt like
That's
that was
awesome.
a really bad decision.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I've ever been more proud of you, and that includes the birthing two of our biological children. But you overcame some tough stuff. And having a baby,
Meh.
meh.
Lots of people
Lots
do
of people do that. How many people have passed the real estate test on their
Well,
first try? Only 25%.
it.
So, I'm kidding. All the women out there, please do not send me hate mail.
I'm not offended. I'm the one.
What am I loving? I am loving my wife for passing this, and she's going to be a real estate mogul now. I'll probably be able to retire here very soon.
And play more pickleball.
I'm really excited. In our addition, we are adding 4 new pickleball courts, and we're kind of the directors and coordinators of that. And we were out tonight, and there were about 6 or 7 people that showed up and helped us put the lines down, which was really, really fun. It's just cool to see pickleball grow.
We have a great addition.
We really do. We've got
we
1,000 houses in our addition, so we've got the potential for pickleball to just explode. We have 6 courts right now.
Awesome.
It's great. I think we have more courts than any addition.
Yeah, and I mean, can you take credit for that?
I mean, I
feel
can
like
take some.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, you've pushed this.
Yeah,
you've been like the pickleball pro for the last couple years.
Yeah, so it is fun to see it growing, and just a shout out to my peeps that came and helped put really lines down, and so we're excited to have those. We are actually getting, these are just temporary for the next month or so, and then they are repainting the courts. So Abby's yawning. It's bedtime, so we better wrap this episode up. But thanks again for joining us on One More Game. I don't know. I mean, could this be our new studio?
I like it.
Mark, you think?
Yep, he looks good.
Yeah, he looks good.
I like it.
Yeah. Vibe
pickleball.
All right, we'll see you next time on One More Game. Thanks again for joining us. Bye-bye. As always, we want to thank our sponsors, Hoosier Pickleball, Indiana Physical Therapy, and Pickleball Rocks. In addition, a big thank you to our production company, Coraggio Media, and the 95.7 WELT studio in beautiful downtown Fort Wayne. Please make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, or find us on YouTube at One More Game Pod. That's the number 1 More Game Pod. Hit that subscribe button and be sure to leave us a 5-star rating to help us spread the word. You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok at Hoosier Pickleball for all kinds of fun, tips, tricks, and other family nonsense, and also some great discussion. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.